These video clips are not from Gaza. These video clips are from Jenin, 2002. But they could be from Gaza 2 weeks ago, couldn't they? The point is that, be it the Nakba, 1948, the occupation of 67, the Intifada, Jenin, now Gaza, one renewed chapter of this ongoing genocide after another, all we see is intensification after intensification from the Zionist army, from these Zionist criminals. And that's really all they can do at this point. And the reason that's all they can do, that's all they have, as the little girl so accurately said, and this is one of my champions, one of our many champions from Palestine, and one of the clear indications that Palestine will definitely be free and will definitely be liberated. Because the fact is, in spite of the Zionist state being the fourth strongest military power in the world, in spite of the full military, diplomatic, and financial backing of the United States, in spite of all of the atrocities that are inflicted on our people, what do we have? We have a defeat handed to the Zionists in Jenin. Now, how do we define a defeat? A defeat is defined by the fact that they are unable to impose their will, politically or militarily. They're able to inflict massive amounts of death and destruction, but they're unable to achieve their goal. They're unable to get, in the end, what they wanted. So in Jenin, they were defeated. In 2006, in Lebanon, they were defeated. And in Gaza, they were defeated. What we have is an emerging pattern of defeat that says, in spite of everything that is attempted and everything that is inflicted on the people of Palestine and the Arab people, there is nothing that can be done to crush the will of the people. There is nothing that can be done to stop our resistance until we, in fact, achieve our freedom, our liberation, and for us, that is anchored and centered with the return for each and every single exile and refugee, wherever they may be in the world. Now, along that path, we have an emergence of two very clear and distinct camps. And we've seen that very clearly during this last massacre in Gaza, haven't we? On the one hand, we have the camp that will continue struggling no matter what is inflicted upon us, the camp that says resistance until liberation, total liberation, and this is a camp that extends throughout the Arab world, throughout Palestine, Lebanon, Syria, Egypt, even throughout Saudi Arabia. Let's be clear, the ground is shaking throughout the Arab world. There has been an earthquake that started in Palestine, Lebanon, and Iraq, and the aftershocks are extending throughout the Arab world. That is the camp of resistance, and it cannot and will not be crushed. And on the other hand, we have the camp of despotic and subservient regimes that have put their own self-interest above anything else. They have separated themselves from the people that they are supposed to serve. They have allied themselves with the Americans and the Zionists, and I'll tell you something, and we all know this in this room, their time is coming, sooner rather than later. They will be held accountable. They will have to answer for their actions. Their actions are nothing less than treason. So, having said that, what do we have as Palestinian Arabs who are entrenched in a liberation movement, as Palestinian Arabs living in exile? What do we have other than to continue building a movement, to continue participating in events like this, and to do our utmost to make sure that our movement and our struggle gets healthier day by day. What do we have other than each other? If for the time being, we don't have our leadership, and by the way, maybe I forgot to mention, unfortunately, these despotic, subservient leaders that put themselves above all else and separate themselves from the struggle and the will of their people, today it includes Mahmoud Abbas and Salim Fayyad and the whole Palestinian Authority. And let's be clear, our rights cannot be negotiated away by anybody. Our right to return is an inalienable, individual and collective right. And not Mahmoud Abbas, not Iqra', not Fayyad, not a single one of them, the whole batch doesn't have the right to negotiate anything on my behalf or yours. So we're here for a purpose tonight, aren't we? We've been here all day talking about things that we can do. We've been talking about demonstrations, we've been talking about rallies, we've been talking about the ongoing movement in Palestine throughout the Arab world. Let me assure you, as this little girl said, they can't crush our will. They won't do anything to crush the resistance. The day is coming that Palestine will be free, and one day, sooner rather than later, all of us in this room and the millions of us around the world will be reunited in a free and liberated Palestine, as long as we continue to support each other, to support our organizations, to support our missions, to support our people back home, and frankly, what you're here to do tonight, which is to support a particular project and reach down into your pockets to do so. Thank you.
الله أكبر تكبير الله أكبر تكبير الله أكبر